my name is Ainsley and welcome back to my library. For today's video, we are going to be talking about all of my holiday reads this year. I am so excited. I think holiday books are one of my favorite types of books to read because it's so much fun. I love holiday books. I love the holidays. I think the season is just so joyful. So I have a couple books that I really want to get to this season, and I'm going to be talking to you guys all about them in today's video. Let's just dive right in. For starters, I'm going to start off with the only book that I have on this list that is not a Christmas book. And that is Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. This is the 10th anniversary Barnes & Noble edition. So it is beautiful. Oh my goodness, beautiful, beautiful copy. I obviously own the first edition of the book, and I fell madly in love with this book, with these characters. I read it for the first time whenever I was in 7th grade, and I have read it every other year in December since then. So for some reason, this has just become such a staple for my holiday season, and this is the first book I read whenever I'm in a book slump because it is so good to me. If you guys don't know, I was a huge reader whenever I was younger. Like, I loved literature from, I'll say 2nd grade. That was whenever I read like my first chapter book. Like, my dad was there to help, obviously. But that was whenever I read my first chapter book, and then I could not stop reading until 5th grade. Like, I loved every single book. And then I kind of fell off. I didn't want to read anymore. I got bullied for it, and I started middle school. Obviously, at middle school, a whole new pool of people that I'm with, and I didn't feel like being a reader anymore, so I kind of just like dropped that part of me. And then my mom gifted me this book for my 7th grade birthday. Read it in December of my 8th grade year, fell back in love with reading, and have been on ever since. So this is just like, this book genuinely signifies to me the fact that I will never be too far gone from the book girl that is deep inside of me, and this book reminds me of that. So I am fighting a pretty serious book slump right now, and I just know this book is going to get me through it, and perfectly so, because last year I did not read this book. So it's sticking to its every other year. If for some reason you've never heard of this book before, what? That's crazy. But we follow our main character, Kath, and she is so much fun. She's actually a twin sister, and her twin go off to college. They decide to separate. Kath doesn't decide that, the twin sister decides that. So Kath is trying to discover who she is without her twin sister, and we just get to go through life with her, specifically her freshman year of college. However, Kath is sitting on like a pretty big secret, and that is that she is a fanfic author, and she has so many fans. So she decides to keep up with her fan fiction and keep writing it, keep posting it, yada yada yada, everything. Her twin sister kind of decides to step away from that and thinks she's like too good to do stuff like that. So her and her sister have a major falling off, but we kind of just go, we just get to watch Kath go from somebody who is isolated from everybody, doesn't really know how to exist, and we just see what life looks like once you're around the right people who are truly in your corner, and how you can just blossom if you have somebody on your side. So I love this book. It's so good. I definitely think it's appropriate for any age. Genuinely, it's so good, and it's appropriate, I promise. The next book is a Christmas book, guys, I promise. And this is a repeat read for me. I am so excited for it. Whenever anybody asks me for a holiday book recommendation, this is the book that comes to my mind first because it is so good. Genuinely, it had all of the feelings there. It is a little bit younger because they are 16 years old. Last time I read this book, I was 19. Now I'm 23. So I feel like my ability to relate to the characters is going to be a little bit hindered simply because of the age gap. However, me being 19, I was in a very different place than I was whenever I was 16. So I still was able to relate and get a lot of enjoyment out of the book. I also just think the plot is so interesting. So we are following two characters, Elle and Holly, and they end up switching places. So we have Elle, who is a social media star, and she enters in this challenge of who can get more followers for such and such reason, whatever. So she decides to do a campaign where she essentially is going to switch lives, switch like houses with somebody, a fan of hers, and just document her life in this new town and do all the holiday things that this town has to offer. So Elle settles in to this house in Britain, and she is enjoying her life, enjoying her time over there, and she ends up falling in love with the boy across the street. However, may I also tell you that we are following the girl that she switches with, who is at Elle's house. Her name is Holly. She ends up getting a little close with Elle's twin brother. So you are getting two romances, and you are getting this one girl from America experiencing Britain. You are getting this British girl experiencing America, and it is so cool. You are also getting somebody who is so focused on influencing and somebody who doesn't really want anything to do with social media. So I think this book is so good, and it has all the Christmas vibes in it, because whether they're doing it in Britain or they're doing it in America, they are doing holiday things the entire time. And it is just a book about self-discovery. It is about just realizing what is true about your life and standing firm in that. And I love this book. This book is phenomenal. Now I'm going to move into the 4 books that are new to me, and I am so excited for them. So the first one that I want to start with is Meant to Be by Katie Cicatelli Cook, I believe is how you say it. This is the author of Pumpkin Spice Latte, and if y'all don't know, I did a whole fall reading vlog of me reading this book. So it takes place in the same town, and I actually love that book. I know a lot of people had some mixed reviews on it in terms of they felt like it was too high school. My opinion was I think the writing style and the dialogue and honestly the character, it was on brand for somebody who was 16 years old and going through a lot. In this book, we are following Emma and Aiden. Emma and Aiden are like childhood best friends. They can do nothing without each other. And Emma kind of decides to just leave and goes to college. Doesn't really say anything to him. Well, now she's back in town, and her and Aiden agree to get coffee and see where the night takes them. And we kind of just realize, are they able to be friends? Is it going to develop into something more again? Where do we stand? So this book, I'm really excited for it. I think the first fall book had everything that you wanted in a fall book, down to like doing all of the fall fun things. Like there was like a fall festival, they went pumpkin shopping, they worked at a coffee shop. I feel like how much more fall can you get? And I was really just fully embraced with the fall vibe. And so if she is able to recreate that experience that I had with holiday things, this book is going to be fantastic. So I'm so excited. Next up is a book called Christmas at the Palace. This book was one that I had never heard of, never seen until I was in the bookstore shopping, and I saw it and I read the synopsis, and this is my first Christmas without my mom, but something that my mom loves was any Christmas movie having to do with princesses or princes, falling in love, anything royal. She loved. Those were her favorite kinds of Christmas movies to watch, was whenever royalty was involved. So whenever I saw this book, and it's literally about a modern woman falling in love with the prince, and it's the holiday season. So I saw this book, and I knew that I wanted to read it, if not for myself, for my mom, because I just know for a fact if she were to see this book at the bookstore, she would pick this book up and read it. So I wanted to read it too. Next up is Not So Holly Jolly by Haley Brown. This book is actually very tiny. It's a 100-page novella. I am so excited to read this book because, as I mentioned earlier, I am in a bit of a reading slump. So I feel like reading a book like this and just knocking it out super quick is exactly what I need. Is fast-paced and something that is immersive. I have read Haley Brown's books before. I say books, I've actually only ever read one, but I have the desire to read her 2 other books because that first book was so cute, and she had a playlist for every single page, or not every single page, but every single chapter. There were playlists, and I was actually able to go to Spotify and find them, and that enhanced my reading experience. It was so good. It was phenomenal. So whenever I was told that she was publishing a book, a holiday book, I was like, I have to buy this. This is too good to be true. So it's your typical Christmas classic. She hates the holidays. He loves it, and he is determined to change her mind. So we are following Holly and Jack, and they are just on this adventure together of how can we get Holly to see and experience what Christmas is all about, which is just being joyful and thankful and present with the people that you love. So I think this book is going to be good. Obviously the last book I read by her, I think it was like 350 pages. So it was like an average sized book. So I'm excited to see how well she is at developing a storyline and delivering it in 100 pages. So I'm very excited to see that. But I'm also excited to get to jump into another Haley Brown book. So very excited. So the last book that I have to share today, and the one that I am probably the most excited to read this holiday season, is Love in Winter Wonderland. So Wonderland is the name of a locally owned bookstore, and it's Trey's family's bookstore, and he is kind of just drowning right now. He's trying to balance his job, his school, and his passions. And then we also have Ariel, and she is equally trying to pursue her passion in the arts, but she's also working at Wonderland, and she is just trying to just go through life. Trey and Ariel actually hate each other. They don't like each other at all, as every single book starts with. But you know what? It's a trope, and I'm not tired of it because I keep buying and I keep reading books that have the trope. So I can't even complain that it's popular because I'm contributing to the popularity. I digress. We are following them, and they hate each other, and they find out that Wonderland, the bookstore, is on the brink of just going under, no longer existing, closing the doors. So Trey and Ariel put everything that they don't like about each other to the side, and they team up together to save this bookstore that they both have grown to love deeply. One of my favorite settings to read about in a holiday book. So I am excited to be jumping into that same setting, but like different. Same vibe, different setting. That is it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for just watching me yap about books for however long this video is. Also, thanks for bearing with me with the lighting. I really wanted to film this at night because of the Christmas tree, but then I realized that it was like way too dark with the Christmas tree behind me. But please know that I am praying for y'all, and I am wishing you guys the happiest holiday season, regardless of what phase you're in or what your life looks like. I really just am praying that you get to find some joy, and you get to find some laughter, and you get to just feel loved, that you get to receive and give love this holiday season. That is my hope and prayer for every single one of you guys watching this video. I love you guys. If you want to spend the holiday season with me, you don't have to, but I would really love it if you did. Please like the video, subscribe to my channel. I have a lot of really, really fun videos coming up that I've actually already started filming, so I know for a fact they will be posted. So just log on and just watch a couple of videos with me. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We're gonna have fun together, I promise. So yes, like, subscribe, and I will see you guys next week with a totally new video. Bye, guys.